Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coggin with the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. I am a Reiki Master, Celtic Shamanic High Priestess, Channel, Galactic Ambassador. I do stuff. And we are thrilled today to have, first of all, my beautiful co-host, Jennifer. Jennifer, would you like to tell people about you, please?
They know me.
In case we have somebody new.
Jennifer Jurkofsky with Twillow Lifestyle and also with my holistic self counseling. I am a registered psychotherapist, a certified Canadian counselor. I'm also a Reiki master, energy worker, all the other fun stuff too. And
Ordained minister, whirling dervish, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're all intuitive.
That's the Al Kahina part.
And so we have a special guest today, which we're really thrilled to have you. Thank you for joining us today, Cassie. So we have Cassie Clayton. So I'll ask Cassie to do her little intro and let us know what she does, because I think she wears a few hats.
I do. So primarily, I do website design. I work with spiritual business owners doing their branding, their logos, graphics, all of their podcast setups, everything. So I help people with that, and my primary focus in that is really working with other light workers in the community and helping them to build, that profession, have that professional website, have that professional look and feel. That all that does is simply help them get out there more, drive more traffic to them, be able so that they can be seen. And I do psychic work and intuitive work myself as well. So it's a nice blend that I get to take all of the techie skills that come so easily and so intuitive to me, and be able to use them to help support other people in a field that is near and dear to my own heart, because I do it. So
awesome. And that just helps all of us get our word out so that we can help more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. And so you may have noticed Jen's therapy cat, who is there because she does therapy for others. And Rabia, and I believe that you have some pets as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have four.
Yes.
I have four kids. I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats. They've all the entourage of the furry kind developed because I wasn't that smart to get a fish.
It's amazing how that works. And they all love you. And we're like, oh, you are taking us home, by the way. Yes.
Still don't have the fish, but I do have 4 other fur kids. So
There you go.
I remember
my shaman was.
Yeah.
Saw him and he was like, "You're my human. You take me home now." And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Shaman's another cat. So
when I went into PetSmart to get the fish, there was a couple there that had 2 puppy dogs, 2 puppies that were just like, we're here just socializing them and trying to find them homes. They were 2 little chihuahuas. Mom and dad were out of town. I was still living with the parents at the time, and I had kind of picked up the sister, and I was like, she's cute, she's cuddly. All right, but I can give her back. And they were like, well, do you want to hold do you want to hold the little boy dog? And I was like, I was very proud of myself, because I was like, look, I was able to hold the cuddly and give the cuddly back. So sure, we're on a roll. Why not? And as soon as I picked up Coda, it was like, boom, done. You're my human. Oh, okay. There you go. Where do I sign?
yeah.
So, that was a fun conversation when my parents got home. What have you been up to? Well,
Guess what? I have a roommate or two.
And guess what, Mom? He's got a sister. And my parents did eventually. It took a little bit of convincing on my dad's side, but they ended up getting the sister. So
Awesome.
we had little twin chihuahuas running around causing chaos and havoc. It was awesome.
Perfect.
Nice. Very nice.
So Jen has 2 cats.
Oh,
Sorry, 3 cats, 2 dogs, 3 rats.
wow.
She's got a full house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no pets right now.
Okay, we've got them to share.
You guys have enough. So you guys make up for my lack of.
Yeah.
We used to have guinea pigs, but we lost our last one not long ago. So we've stopped for now.
Yeah, I've had to kind of draw a hard line of like, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
My guinea pig plight started like yours. I went in thinking we'll get a fish for my son, and then we thought maybe we should get, a hamster because they're furry, and we left with guinea pig.
So it just kind of kept going up the scale.
It really did. Yeah. I was kind of glad we stopped at the guinea pig and didn't end up with, cat and dog and whatever else is on that list. Because I love my guinea pigs. They were awesome. We ended up having like 3 over the course of years, and yeah.
Well, for the first time ever, I'm since I got the pets, I am having to now look at what do I do when I travel.
Yeah, that's tricky.
4 fur kids. What do I do?
You need a house sitter.
I did leave for a minute. So I'm trying to sort that out preemptively. Yeah.
And so, and what city are you in?
In Dallas, Texas.
In Dallas. So we could say if anybody is in Dallas and is looking to pet sit or something along those lines, they can reach out. We put Cassie's information into the notes there.
Cassie's gonna I'll come to Dallas.
I tell you, my other hat's HR.
I would love it. I will give you all you all can have a free place to stay if you all want to come down and want to take care of the fur kids. Okay,
but we do have a strict screening for everybody out there. There will be a strict screening. So,
yes.
Yeah. We're not accepting just anybody.
This is very true.
Yes. Just putting that out there. So she'll get back to only those that are.
I do have like one or 2 people that I'm talking to right now, but I haven't committed to anything yet.
Not where I expected the conversation to go, by the way.
We're talking about authentic conversation. We haven't even gotten to a card yet. We're just
off. We are off on a tangent.
Okay, so let's corral ourselves back shortly for a moment. I want to say hello to Christopher Michael, who has joined us. Hello. So our usual modus operandi on here is that we pick a card to find a topic, and then we have authentic conversation about that topic. So this year we had last week and this week, first time, we're using this deck, The Soul's Journey from James Van Gogh. Okay. And so let's see what the cards have to say. What do they want us to talk about today? Other than pets, apparently.
If the pet card falls out, man, we're done.
You never know. There could be related ones, like play, right? Yeah.
That'll be the challenge. Whatever the card is, bring it back to pets.
There we go. All right, guys, come on. One card. Thank you. Okay, well, I can bring this back to pets. Our card is trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So
that.
trust.
And it's got the same image as the front of the box does.
It does. Yes. We have trust, soul's journey. So we need to trust our soul's journey. So trust. So it's also, I mean, it alludes to trusting intuition as well. So we can maybe touch on that as well. Mm-hmm. Jen, trust.
I love it. You know, it's so funny. And I'm reflecting back on just today, right? Because things are kind of crazy right now. Anybody who's feeling the energy is going to feel that things are a little all over the place, and they're going to be for a little while now still, right? And we've just moved into gate 60, which is limitations and boundaries, right? But that also leaves room for creativity and all of this other beautiful stuff. And I'm reflecting on the day because my day today was really crazy. And it, you know, when it comes to trusting intuition and all of that, I think that sometimes we get so caught up in the chaos that's happening around us that we forget to take that breath and that step back and to just trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Things are okay. They're going to be okay. In this moment, I am okay, even if everything else is going crazy, right? And when we can come back to that place of centering and grounding, we're coming back to that place of trust, right? Where we can trust ourselves to know what to do, how to handle the crazy, how to navigate it, you know, and what to do in the moment.
How to handle the crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, the other thing that comes to mind is that, like, when we're in those kind of crazy moments, it's harder to trust our like our brain to figure it out too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't really, because there's that whole part of the brain that like shuts off when we go into fight or flight, and so, you know, we can't really figure it out. So really, we need to. Those are the times we really need to feel into and trust our intuition even more. But then we forget to, because I remember I had this. I don't know whether you guys remember, a couple of years ago, we had the Facebook and Instagram went down all in one day. You remember that? So I was like, I came out of an HR meeting and I was in good mood and everything, and doing my thing. And I had a client coming in like 45 minutes. All of a sudden, I had this wave of panic hit me. I haven't had panic, like anxiety in years. And all of a sudden, this wave of anxiety hit me. And I was like, I was crying and I was like, I don't even know what to do. I have all these tools. Do you think I could remember to use my tools? No. I used my call a friend option. And I called a friend and did you breathe? Oh yeah, I got to breathe. Right. Went into breathing, right? And did my breathing. And then I was like, okay. And I had no idea why this happened. And I got myself back together and had my client. I come out while I had my client here, I came out like, I don't know, to go to the washroom or something. And my husband was like, you know what happened right when that happened for you? And I'm like, no. And he's like, Facebook and Instagram went down right at the time that I had this wave of panic. So, you know, I didn't even think to trust the intuition piece. I didn't even think about it at the time. I didn't think about my tools. I didn't think about any of those. So how do you trust your brain, you know, when all that stuff goes out the window? So the thinking doesn't really work. So we have to hope that we trust our intuition, because my intuition, if I had tapped into my intuition, I would have been like, okay, this isn't mine. Why am I acting this way? You know? So trusting your intuition. You have to sometimes step back and remember to do that.
You felt it through the force.
It was a big ripple in the force that day.
Ripple in the force.
Definitely. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what we're feeling today, but in a more widespread sort of ripple, right? It's not as big a wave, but it's a ripple that's going through.
That's very true.
So what comes up for you with all of this trust?
Mm.
So my brain's kind of gone a couple different ways with this. One, I do find it very interesting because when things do happen on a big scale, and you're like, there is something that just happened. Because my first thought was, even like I remember, and this was when I was this was obviously years back, but like 9/11.
Yeah.
I remember arriving to school that day, and as I was walking through the parking garage, I had, again, not connected to radio, not connected to anything. I just remember feeling this feeling of like something just shift, like there was a huge shift.
Yeah.
And it was palatable, it was feelable, even though, again, no clue. And when I walked into school, that's when we started hearing about what was going on. But yeah, like, so definitely the day that Facebook and Instagram shut down, for obviously very different reasons, but panic
for sure. Yeah.
And we've seen the fallout and from social media and all of that, we kind of see a little bit of the fallout from that day of panicking, because everybody, more, I think it put a lot more importance on people realizing that they need to bring their market, not just relying on your social media and platforms to be able to drive to your business, but also, what would I do? What would I do if I couldn't reach my Facebook group? What would I do if I couldn't reach my, audience on Instagram? How would that affect my business? And I think that a lot of people kind of took that as that it's that moment of when I used to live and I work on cruise ships. And there was one day I was standing outside on the ships, and we were in Grand Cayman, and there were 3 different ships, and it was supposed to, like, we hadn't been able to dock there in weeks because just the weather was so rough, the water was so rough, because you had to take the boats. So like the captain that morning was like, okay, we're gonna let y'all off, but everybody's got to be back on the ship by like 1 o'clock because there's a big storm rolling in and we have to be gone, like out of this premises by the time that the storm gets here. It will be bad, guys. And so, of course, that didn't happen. There were 3 ships in port. The boats taking everybody back and forth because there's the reef around Grand Cayman. You can't get it in or out. And there was just this moment where a really huge wave came in and all 3 ships kind of lurched forward and immediately pulled. As soon as that happened, all 3 of them pulled way back from the island. It was that, we are way too close, moving back. And so I kind of, that day where all social media went down, it's kind of that, oh shit moment of whoops, we're a little too maybe reliant on this particular source. Let's pull back, go around the quote unquote island and go back and try again from a different perspective. And that, I think, it's the same thing. It's as intuitives, we definitely pick up when there's
disturbances in the force.
I love that.
I love that reference. But we definitely pick up on the disturbances in the force. But I also feel like, there are things that we learn from days like that. Because really since that day, I've seen a number of people kind of wanting to pull off of these social media platforms, or really putting a lot more stock into making sure that they do have that mailing list. That they, and look, Shammy came to say hello.
Hello. We have another mascot.
We do. So it's just, I think a lot of the times it is tuning in and making, when we do feel that rush, if you will, of something has shifted, things like that, where for us, a lot of the times that means, oh, we feel panicky, we feel stressed, to taking that moment to kind of reevaluate and say, okay, or I guess evaluate and say, okay, is this really mine, or is this coming from somewhere else? And I love the fact that you said in your story that it's like, I have all these tools.
Yeah.
I know how to use all these tools, but we forget to use these tools, right?
Yeah.
We forget to use the tools. We, in the moment of panic, we forget that we have options and tools. And today, actually, for me, I'm like, oh, today's like, things are moving, things feel good, things are happy. But like over the weekend, I was in my head in high stress mode in all the places because, there are just some things going on that I'm like, that are causing lots of stress. And it's like, in those moments, I forget the tools. I don't use them. I have them, but I don't use them.
And that's exactly why we all need each other as support.
Exactly.
Right? This community, it's important for all of us to support each other, because we do need to phone a friend when we're in those states and they're like, breathe. Oh yeah. You have your crystals. Oh yeah, crystals. Got it. Or essential oils, right? We have to remind each other. We have to just be there for each other and support each other.
Yes.
So, I know when I tuned in this year for 2023, the 3 words that came through as themes for us is caring, collaboration, and what was the last one? Compassion. Caring, collaboration, and compassion were the 3 themes for this year. And so that collaboration thing is community. It's all about the community and finding your tribe, and because those are the people you can trust. Those are the people that you build trust with, right?
Absolutely.
Because you have that.
Yes. One of my and it is funny because one of my closest friends, when I do kind of get in that state of panicky and my head down the black hole, she'll be like, okay, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Trying. No, you don't want to move? Okay, click. And it's kind of in that moment where I'm like, oh, okay, I got to pull it together because because it's almost something that just kind of like snaps you out of it, because you're like, oh, I guess I really am very, very headspace because
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But I mean, even the act of just her just being like, she's like, okay, I love you. I'm trying, but you're not listening. So, and what I'm doing isn't working. So, okay,
I'll
bye.
see you later. You let me know when you're ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other piece about trust, right? We have to be open to it. Trust goes both ways. We have to trust when people bring us things, as well as trusting that people will act for us. So it's kind of both, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I loved
What do you think?
what you said too about your friend being able to hang up, right? Because I think that some in this kind of field, we get very caught up in wanting to help and wanting to help solve for somebody else, and really trusting that somebody's journey is what it's supposed to be. And if somebody needs to still go through something, that's okay. Right? And to trust that their own higher self is going to bring them through it.
Exactly.
Right? And to be able to come back and reach out again when they are ready, and all of that. And it takes a lot of trust, because it's really hard sometimes to watch somebody go through something and know you can't do anything to change their mind in that moment or to get them to see something differently.
Well, and what my friend does too is she's like, I'm giving you good advice. Like, the advice I'm giving you is good, and you're just not hearing, like, you're so far, it's kind of like you're so far gone that you're not even there. So at this point, we're kind of wasting both of our times. So, because she also knows me well enough to know that like I'll like once I kind of pull out of it, I'm like, okay, then I can, then I'll be ready to listen and ready to hear and ready to act and do all the things. And so, when you're helping other people, it's like you kind of have to assess, are they even in the space to be helped at the moment?
Well, and our role really as light workers is support, not save, right? We're not there to save everybody. We can offer support. We can hold space. We can, send love, send light, all of that stuff.
Right.
But we're not there to solve all the problems and save them. We all have to save ourselves. So that's where we have to trust ourselves that we know.
Right.
And that's not always easy, with everybody's, when we get into shadow work, I mean, there's lots of reasons why people don't trust themselves in certain situations, but that's where we can support them through that and support the healing process, which for me is all about like getting to know yourself, right? How do we get to know ourselves? We use tools. We, talk to people that understand, and we, we use things like human design. Jen does human design. So,
and to bring it back to the furry kids, I will say this: it's if I know my pets very well, and I actually had somebody that I knew come and stay with me, and I was like, it's interesting because my one white cat, she was here a whole week. She did not. My cat did not warm up to her once during the entire week. Now, I have a group of friends that will come over. They come over like once a year for Christmas. And like, that's like it. That's the one party I have every year. And by the end of the night, he'll be in the room. Like, he'll get kind of scared at first because it's a lot of noise and it's people he doesn't know very well, and he'll go and hide. But by the end of the night, he's usually in somebody's lap, laid out with his tummy up, pet me. Yeah. And I was like, the whole week she was here, he didn't go up to her one time. In fact, he hid from her most, like, it wasn't even that it's like if I was in the other room, he would be in the other room, and it's like he even going, like, walking by her to get to his closet, it was like he would wait and like not go in until she was far enough away that he knew he could get in there. And I was like, that's very weird. Mm-hmm. And so at some point I kind of had to sit down and kind of take stock of that and be like, what is it about the person that my cat is not wanting to warm up to him, warm up to this person? Because I was like, all my other pets are kind of big. Like, Coda's a little bit more discerning, my little Chihuahua, but like all my other pets are like, we love people.
They pick up on energies, right? They pick up on the subtle energies. So, maybe this friend was going through something and had an energy block or something like that. That was.
Yeah. So it was just kind of very interesting because I was like, I'm like, I trust my cat. Mm-hmm. And what was also very interesting is when I started really kind of looking at that relationship, I was like, maybe this really isn't the best relationship for me to be in. Mm. And so, or at least at this time, like, and so I was like, hey, at the end of the day, I trust my cat.
Well, your cat knows you, and animals pick up on that subtle more than we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Maybe you want to come back in a year and try again and see if my cat likes you then. I don't know.
Well, we do have our energy changes. We do evolve. We're never the same person 2 days in a row, right? Exactly. We're always different. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I do trust my little fur babies.
No, it's true. And animals are beautiful for that because they do sense things more than we do, because they have that, right? Like that's their main thing, is that survival instinct. And so they sense things on levels much, deeper than we do in some ways, because they don't have that, whole processed thinking component that gets in the way, right? They're very much, what's going on right now? What am I sensing? What am I feeling?
But they don't have all of our filters, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got all these filters that we see the world through, and they don't have the same experiences. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things too with trust that, is so beautiful, because I talk to clients a lot, and we talk about trauma, and we talk about, experiences where trust has been broken, or where trust has been placed and it's not been good for them. And, then they get to this place where it's, really hard to trust themselves
Mhm.
because, well, I made a bad decision, or I let that person in my life, and how can I trust my own judgment? And, as we explore that, often we're able to go back and they're like, yeah, okay, that was there, but I didn't want to see it. And
Mhm.
yeah, okay, that was something that I was telling myself that wasn't true, but I wanted this so badly. Or, whatever the story is. But I think that, when we talk about our filters and all of the things that we have going on in our mind and the stories that we tell ourselves and all of that, I think it is really important. And this is where meditation and practice and stuff like that come into play, to be able to take those breaths, to take those steps back, to allow ourselves to, listen to our fur babies, to listen to whatever it is that's giving us these other insights that maybe we aren't tapping into, or haven't practiced tapping into, or have too many other kind of things going on in our mind to connect with, right? What can we trust in those moments, right? And where can we find ways to connect with that knowing?
Yeah, it's true. And we do have like the brain cells in our stomach as well, which is where they get the gut instinct from. And those are the ones that get the energy first, right? So trusting your gut is a big part of that trust piece too, right? Trusting the gut. We feel it in the gut first, then the heart, and then the head. So our head gets the information last. Our telephone, what goes through all the three channels, by the time it gets to our head, there's something skewed. We have other fur baby opinions coming in.
Fur baby opinions coming in.
There we go. I guess he doesn't like what I'm saying.
Oh, there was somebody that passed by outside. So, yes. But yeah. Yeah.
So how do you learn to trust your intuition? Let's talk about that. How did you learn to trust your intuition, Cassie?
I think it's probably always a work in progress. And I have found that, a lot of the times we can get so caught up with asking everybody else what we should do. And at the end of the day, you just gotta trust your voice is what matters. I see that in people. I see that, of course, every day is a work in progress, but also I see that with clients that I work with. We just launched a website. It's kind of funny. We will one of the clients I've been working with for the past couple of months. We just launched her website, and she is, she's like, I'm so excited. Wait, is it live? Like, people can actually go to it. People can sit, but no one can find it, right?
Well, I think what we're working on is making sure people can find it.
That's kind of what.
That's the point, right?
That's one thing, but
and then so then she was like, we have that conversation. And then when she takes her, because I help her with her monthly graphics for her social, and then she's like, well, but if it goes out on my social media feed, are people going to see that? No, like no one can see that, right? And I'm like, were you ready to? It's kind of one of those moments you're like, okay, were you? I don't want to push you if you're not ready, but are we not ready to like go live? Because I kind of feel like that's what we were working on the last several months. So, but yeah, I mean, you have to put your own voice into it, and I feel like that's a lot of what sometimes people don't realize is that when they are working on whether it's life in general, you've got to be the active participant. And when you're always requesting everybody else's help, and I mean, ask for help when you need it, yes, but if you're asking for everybody else to the extent of you're not even using your own voice or your own thoughts, that's where it becomes problematic, because it really does take.
We can hear you typing, hon.
Oh, sorry. I was just letting Reagan know I was down here. That's my daughter. Sorry.
It's quite loud on our end. So.
I had no idea. Authentic, right?
Okay.
It's authentic for sure.
So yeah, it's whether it's day-to-day life or whether it's starting a business or putting yourself out there or whatever it is, you have to trust that the right people, that your message is gonna make it to the right people, that you have, there's still the co-creation, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, trusting yourself and trusting your own voice. I mean, meditation helps. But meditation helps, just quieting yourself, using the tools. But ultimately, that trust comes from, how much do you believe in yourself? How confident are you in yourself? And it's okay to struggle with that, and for that to be different every day.
Yeah, for sure. And I think trusting your body, because we feel it in the body, right? That's kind of what I was getting at with the intuition or the gut instinct.
Yes.
Because we feel things in our body, which we don't even pay any attention to. So we can really.
Yeah. There was actually one time I had talked to somebody about, like, we both had separate podcasts, and we know a lot of the same people, and we were talking about merging our podcasts and combining it to be one. And soon as I fell into that, I just got this feeling of panic.
Right.
And I was like, not the podcast that I do with Tracy. This was a different podcast that I had going for a while. And I just was like, when I thought about actually merging that, I was like, all of a sudden got this overwhelming feeling of, this is the wrong thing to do. And I was like, okay. It was kind of one of those things where we had already agreed and all the things. And I was like, and we're not going to do it anymore, because I just don't feel good about it. So,
and it's okay. We have to follow that.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
and that's being true to us.
Yeah. And I do feel like even if you do get into because whether it's a friend or whether we're going out to dinner or something like that, if there is something that's telling you, hey, you should not be going to this, it's better to trust yourself. Mm-hmm. One of my coaches will say, she's like, I'd rather be rude and wrong than to have not followed my gut, not followed my instinct, and had something bad happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to say on that, one of my, biggest learning curves with all of this was not trusting, right? And seeing where not trusting got me, mm-hmm. Right? Where doubt or questioning or, kind of going, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, whatever. And then going about doing it anyway and being like, oh,
That's what they were saying.
that's what that was. Oh, don't do that again. Okay, listen to that. Right? And sometimes that's how we do learn from, making the mistakes. And that's okay too, as long as we're learning.
Yes.
That's when you ignore the spirit messages long enough, and then all of a sudden you get pushed even more, or you get shoved because you ignored it. So all of a sudden something bigger happens because you should have listened to your intuition.
I hate those moments.
Yeah, they happen to all of us, but yeah.
Those moments are like, I got the message.
Yeah. I got it and I ignored it. Why?
So it's kind of, I guess it's taking, when we do get those messages, taking a second to like digest it and be like, okay.
Right. What do I need to do with this?
What do I need to do with the information versus I got the information and then I just went along about the day and now I wish I'd listened.
Yeah. And that's where the meditation can be helpful, right? Because it does take that time out to be like, okay, do the breath. What do I need to get from what I just heard?
Yeah.
And then allow more to filter in.
Yes.
How did you learn to trust, Jen, your intuition?
Other than lots of mistakes. Yeah, I think my lessons really came from recognizing how trust and surrender go hand in hand.
Mm.
So for me, it really was a lot of that kind of trial and error, not listening, and then realizing, okay, I'm not getting to where I want to be or doing what I want to do. Clearly there's something not going on here that, it's not what I want. And, being able to get to that place of, okay, clearly I don't know. This can't figure it out. And the more I try to follow what its problem solving does, the more I just mess everything up. So I surrender.
Yeah.
Right. And in that moment, it's like, okay, even if it starts to tell me something, I'm ignoring it because I surrender. Right. So now we start listening for something else, looking for something beyond what the mind does or says. And then in those moments, it's like, oh, I wouldn't have even heard that if my mind was still going so loud. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was listening to that so completely, that's different. Okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to follow that, see what happens. Right. And so when we're talking about meditation and things like that and quieting that mind, it's really just about allowing space for us to be able to hear something else. Right. And it's that practice for me that was life-changing because, I couldn't figure it out. And I was clearly taking myself in the wrong direction many times over until I was able to just, say, okay, I'm done.
Tell me what I'm supposed to do because I'm out of options. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it was definitely, the trial and error thing. And it was a little bit at a time when it comes to messaging. It's like, so you would step out there and you'd be like, okay, I'm looking for a message for this. And then you get something and you'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But you're cautious, right? You're like, all right. So you do it. And then you realize, oh, okay, that was the right thing. So then next time there's that little bit of trust, a little bit more trust, right? So that trial and error thing. And I think it's the same when you start doing readings, right? You start doing them and you're pulling cards and you're like, okay, I think this is what it is. That might be the option. This might be the answer. And then it happens and you're like, okay. So trust is really something that you kind of have to build on, right? even if it's inner trust or trust in yourself, there's times that we've made poor decisions. So trusting ourselves, we have to sort of build that trust up again, and it takes time for us to do that. Trust in ourselves, trust in the guides, trust in each other. I think that's a big part of our human relationships, is about learning how to create trust and maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always easy. No. But, authentic conversations help.
Yes. And also, I just wanted to bring up really fast, because since meditation was mentioned, for me, meditation looks like going on a really long walk.
Yeah.
For some people, meditation looks like sitting and just being quiet and listening to their own, just quieting their mind and things like that. So meditation can look different to everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. And some people do the coloring thing, color mandalas and stuff, right? The moving meditations and yoga. Those are all sort of meditative things. Some people write because it's like an automatic writing thing and it's a meditative process, right?
Yes.
So what's your favorite form of meditation then? Going for a long walk?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Jen?
There's my head.
Oh, my favorite? Oh, that's a tough one. I like to just sit. I like to do mantra meditations. I like to write. I will do where I'll just like use the singing bowl and kind of go into that. Nature.
Yeah.
Just not very good at the winter nature.
Yeah, me either.
I know
Perhaps
some people are fantastic with it. I'm just not so great with it.
We might be living in the wrong climate, Jen.
Probably.
We have how many feet of snow right now? We have a lot of snow here.
Yeah,
I think mine is more sitting, but it's not always quieting the mind. For me, I often will ask for messages. So it's about listening for me and having that come in and then, making notes or whatever. But I do also enjoy like solfeggio music, having that on while I'm doing it. It seems to sort of open things up. It's almost like, over the course of the day, everything kind of gets closed in like this. And then you start to listen to that and it just sort of starts to open things up a little bit for me and start to be able to connect a little better. But I like the mantra meditations too. I often will use the 72 names of God, depending on what I'm trying to manifest and whatnot. Those are great for manifesting. So I do those kind of mantras a lot.
Yes. You actually gave me some mantras to last time we spoke, and I have them all right up here on my desk.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, those are I think that's what I gave you, was names of God, right? Some of the names of God for specific things.
Yes.
3 syllables.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty powerful, those guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Music is also very powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I just finished my first level, actually, of sound healing, and fascinating how it works on the body. Sound and music and stuff, right? It's all sort of connected in that sense. So, oh, and like when we were at Jen's, I went out to Jen's a couple of weeks ago, and her partner has a plant wave. Have you seen those? The plant wave machines? You hook it up to a plant leaf, and it sings. So it reads the music or the vibration of the plant, and you get this beautiful melody that comes from the plant. It's amazing. Super grounding.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful to meditate too. Connecting with.
Yeah. They have a Bodhi plant or a Bodhi tree.
Bodhi
We
tree.
listen to him all day. on Saturday. It was great. Very peaceful.
Awesome.
I want one of those.
Too.
Although I didn't-
Yeah, it's a
Because I
plant
can't.
wave. Plant wave is what it's called. And it's
Yeah, you can actually go on YouTube and they have recordings of plants on there, so you can get a feel for what it sounds like and all of that. And if you ever do want to try to meditate to it without having one, you can always put those on. And they've gone for nature hikes and things like that and recorded different plants and things. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
a couple of them. They've used a couple of different ones, and so it's almost like there's a plant orchestra playing. It's beautiful.
And see, people just don't think about that. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No. Well, and that's the other piece too, right? When we talk about, trust and trusting ourselves and things like that, I think that we as humans are so inclined to think of ourselves as something separate,
Hmm.
right? And so we don't trust in the oneness of things as much as we could. We don't always lean into that, right? And if we have to, if our own separate sense has to figure things out, we're not going very far. We're not getting very much done, right? But this intuitive part of us is really that part that is connected, right? And it is connected to that oneness, to source, to whatever, words we use for that. And so when we do that, we're really tapping into something that is much bigger than this separate sense that we have. And so when we talk about, all of these different things that we can connect with, it's really about how do we connect with that which is all, right? And we can do that in so many beautiful ways.
Yeah. The plant wave is just one. I mean, connecting with crystals, right?
Oh,
Because they're conscious beings. So the more we can connect with that, it's grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And they have messages for us too. We can tune into crystal energy and they will give us messages as well. And again, we can trust it because it's all part of the whole.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our fur babies.
And our fur.
And
And our
Yeah.
It is very interesting because if I do like sit down to meditate, my white cat, he will sit right up on my feet.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, it's kind of like, wait, where are you going? Stay right here, human. Thanks.
Mhm.
We trust our animals, but they also trust us, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
They want to connect. They want to feel that energy. They want to know that you're there.
Yes.
Mhm.
And sometimes they journey with us.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, definitely a couple of my pets have shown up in my dreams.
They often guide us, I think, right? In our dreams.
Mhm.
They often become animal guides.
Osiris has been there a couple of times. So,
Well, with a name like Osiris.
well, right? Well, he knows he's an Egyptian god. He knows he's a little god. He is aware.
That's awesome.
He is aware. Yes.
So he's got Bast energy and Osiris energy because it's one of the cats, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is aware. I'm looking over here because he's right over there in my room. So walking by. So he knows.
Mhm.
And he gets away with a lot more than the other cats do. Or the other pets do.
So do you have one that is like a familiar? When we talk about familiars being like,
So Shamrock, who was on earlier, my little tortoiseshell, she will, if I'm doing crystals and grids and cards, she'll and kind of doing a lot of like ritual stuff, she'll come around. And Osiris is when I'm meditating and things like that, he will come around. He's also the one that's shown up in my dreams. So
oh, does he show up looking like a wizard in your dreams? Does it have that? Does he have that energy? I just saw him as a wizard.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has really different energy than probably any other pet that I've had.
He alchemizes. That's why I say wizard. So like they alchemize the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was with Shamrock. I was putting together a grid one time, and I was like, I don't know if I should add this crystal or not. And I was like, I mean, it can't hurt, right? Like, or crystals can't hurt. So I like set it down, and Shamrock just walked right up and went boosh.
Okay, there it is.
That one is not going as part of this grid. And she used to actually walk around my house. I used to have a lot more. I kind of went through like a cleansing a couple of years ago, and I got rid of. I gifted and just got rid of a lot of the crystals in my house. But a lot of the times when a crystal has sat too long or needs to be moved, Shamrock will go around it and like will constantly bat at it until I move it to a different location.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she doesn't do that as much since I got rid of, since I kind of cleaned house and moved some of the ones that I just didn't need anymore out. I feel a little bit like you got rid of a lot of crystals. Yes. I feel like that's like not what we do, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes, I mean, it depends. I think crystals come and go depending on what we need and who needs them. They needed to be regifted, right? Or go on to somebody else or back to the earth, depending on the case. So I think that's the nature of things, really. Right?
Energy is always flowing.
That's right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, which one of yours is a familiar? I feel like you have two, actually.
Yeah.
So different things, because shaman for sure.
Shaman's a guardian, and he's you just that wise old soul who's been around for ever kind of thing. And I say Robbie's my guardian training. But she definitely is a familiar in the sense of, always close to me, follows me around. I'll be upstairs and I have to come down for a client and I'll say, Robbie, it's time for work. And she'll just run down into the office and, knows that, knows what her duty is to do. So yeah, I think they have different roles, but they both have some significant roles in many realms.
Yeah, I think because when I was there, I know that shaman was doing some alchemy with me. He would come and sit beside me and be like, and I would feel like the shift in the energy as he was working. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. As we're talking about all of our pets, all of mine have decided to converge on the desk.
Yeah, because you're talking
of
about.
Course, they know.
Like, oh, can I see?
Yeah. Yeah, Rob's is slowly approaching as well. She's now sitting behind me where she was. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Where she was on the desk over there.
Shamrock's back. And
hello, Shamrock. Hello, Rob.
And then I've got Jasper and Coda down by my feet. It's kind of a hard camera angle, otherwise I would show. Yeah, they're down by my feet. So
hello, our furry friends. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Hi, sweet boy.
So, to sum up, trust. How would you sum it up, Jen?
Oh my. How would I sum it up? Trust is when we're able to go inside, connect with source, and know that we don't have to know, but that we do know, and it's all okay.
Yeah. Well said. So, Cassie, can you just give us a little bit of an overview about where people can reach you? I did put your website up, and I can actually put that up again because I do have that correct, right?
Yes.
Stargazer.
So yeah, people can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all at Stargazer. All at Stargazers Unite. I'm on YouTube. You can find twice a month on YouTube. We go live and do our Facebook and YouTube. We do our show Metaphysical Happy Hour. So yeah, you can find me on. Easiest way to reach me is go to stargazersunite.com and book a meeting with me. If you use the code TWILLOW. Yep. TWILLOW. Yes.
It's in the description. We put it in the description for a special.
Follow the rules, the things in the description, and that will get you a free project discovery call with me. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've been really blessed to have you. Thank you so much for coming. It's quite an honor to have you on the show. We appreciate you coming and spending the time with us. And we appreciate all of you that have been watching as well for sharing your energy. And make sure you come back next week. We'll be back again 5 o'clock next Monday for Twillow Talk. We've got lots of new activities coming on at Twillow Lifestyle Academy as well. So watch for that on twillowlifestyle.ca. Jen, how do we reach you?
You can find me through Twillow. You can find me at myholisticself.com. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube. It's Holistic Self Counseling at Facebook, just because, I don't know. It's mixed up. It is what it is.
It's Facebook.
But hey, yeah. It's easiest at myholisticself.com or through Twillow Lifestyle.
Awesome. So we thank you all for coming and joining us today, whether you're with us today or later on. Either way, we are sending you tons of love and light, and we'll see you next time.